Welcome to the Department of Germanic Studies at Trinity College Dublin. My name is Mary Cosgrove. I'm Professor in German and Head of the department. And over the next 20 minutes or so, I'm going to be telling you a few things about why German is a great language to learn and why you should come to Trinity to do so. There are many reasons why it's a good idea to study German, and we can roughly group these reasons into narrower ones and broader ones. So I'm going to start broad, which is why I'm going to focus on the pleasure principle, a term that the famous Viennese founder of psychoanalysis, Sigmund Freud, coined in his theory of the unconscious mind around 100 years ago. The idea behind the pleasure principle is that everything we do is governed by a drive to satisfaction, enjoyment, and pleasure. So to translate that into language learning, well, what the point I want to make is that language learning is a lot of fun. Working towards a really high level of language proficiency over a 4-year degree here at Trinity is really, really worthwhile. And at the end of your time here, you'll be a different person to the person who entered front gate as a first year because you'll be more or less fluent in German. You'll be able to speak, read and write it at a very advanced level. For those of you who are not yet fluent speakers of German, what you need to do is imagine yourself in the future with strings of German words just tripping off your tongue. We humans are really, really lucky to have that linguistic capacity. There's doubtless an awful lot of science to explain how our brains are able to do this kind of thing. But I personally prefer to think of it as magic, a sort of magic. Magic that doesn't happen in an instant though, but that comes with engagement, commitment, and an awful lot of fun along the way as well. So one aspect to the pleasure principle of learning German is the sheer joy of being able to speak and communicate through another language. Here's the famous spy novelist John le Carré on another equally or perhaps even more important aspect of the pleasure principle of learning German. The discovery of another culture, another people, another mentality, which tends to expand our own horizons and enrich our own way of doing things. You could call it cultural transfer or cultural exchange. Le Carré calls it good old-fashioned friendship, and I think that's an absolutely great way of putting it. So Le Carré says, the decision to learn a foreign language is to me an act of friendship. It is indeed a holding out of the hand. It's not just a route to negotiation. It's also to get to know you better, to draw closer to you and your culture, your social manners, and your way of thinking. This is what I would call a very satisfying and joyful part of the whole journey of studying a language and society, its history and its culture to a very high level. Le Carré stresses how it's not just a route to negotiation, a way of doing business or making deals with the members of other societies. It's also about mutual understanding and good relationships. People with high-level language skills are very well placed to communicate across cultures, to interpret and translate cultures for others who don't have those skills. And this is, of course, a holding out of the hand, in many ways one of the core ideas on which the European project is based. Now, language learning and curiosity about other cultures also flows into what Freud would call the reality principle. In our context today, I would put it somewhat like this. Broadly speaking, where will my language skills take me? More narrowly, but no less more importantly, what jobs might I be able to do with these skills? According to a survey conducted by a UK-based blog a couple of years ago, the highest paid language in the UK is German, not Mandarin or Spanish, but actually German. And it makes sense when you think about it, because Germany's is the biggest economy in the EU, and it's the fourth overall biggest economy in the world. It's also the third biggest export nation in the world. So while German might not be spoken in the same global way as, say, Spanish or English, Germany and the German-speaking lands of Austria and Switzerland are strong economies with which it is well worth our while to deepen and expand our cultural ties and also our business ties. Currently, though, we can't even make full use of the job opportunities for graduates with German that exist in the Irish economy. For example, a survey conducted by the German-Irish Chamber of Industry and Commerce among multinational companies based in Ireland, like Google, Microsoft, and so on, found that there were 2,000 unfilled positions requiring the German language. That was back in 2016. And last year, Ralf Lissek, Chief Executive of the German-Irish Chamber of Industry and Commerce, pointed out again that job vacancies in Ireland cannot be filled with Irish graduates because of their chronic lack of German and other languages. There are still circa 2,000 vacancies. Lissek says, the reality is that we are going to Germany to recruit Germans for roles in Ireland, an absurd situation. Let's take a closer look at what Germany means for Ireland. Germany is the second largest source of inward investment here, the third largest source of foreign guests, the third largest importer to Ireland, our fourth largest trading partner and export market for Ireland, our sixth largest food export market. So that's quite something. There are approximately 300 German companies in Ireland. More than 10,000 jobs have been created by German companies in Ireland, but equally around 10,000 jobs have been created in Germany by Irish companies. So it's a two-way relationship that's both reciprocal and strengthening. This reciprocity is growing. The German government and the Irish government have been working hard over the last 2 years to intensify and deepen relationships between Ireland and Germany, not just across politics and trade, but interestingly also across culture. So closer Irish-German relations involve a new consulate in Germany, Germany's banking capital and the seat of the German Stock Exchange, a joint Irish-German Economic Council, and a new cultural director in Berlin, all of which is aimed at boosting Ireland's profile in Germany. And interestingly, culture is viewed as the single most visible platform for Ireland in Germany, which is why culture is also being prioritised alongside politics and trade. Here's an overview of the types of careers that our graduates go on to have. As you can see, there's great diversity across these career paths, from government to media and advertising, translation and interpretation, marketing, law, finance, education, and the list goes on. One of our European studies with German graduates was the head of Google Ireland from 2016 to 2020, Fionnuala Meehan. But bringing it a little bit more close to home, why study German at Trinity? What do we do that differs from other third-level institutions in Ireland. A feature of our teaching is that it takes place in small groups. Language classes are rarely larger than 10 to 15 students in a group. Seminars on German culture, literature, or film might be smaller or at times bigger, depending on student demand. The essential thing to know about small group teaching is that the individual student has more time and space to engage with the material and with his or her fellow students. Class discussion can develop more slowly and it can be more inclusive, which intends to encourage independent thinking, something that we at Trinity are very keen to promote in our graduates. Beyond that, the Department of Germanic Studies is small and friendly. There are 6 research and teaching members of staff with a wide range of expertise in culture, history and literature of the German-speaking lands. And we also have a dedicated team of language fellows, including German and Austrian government-funded lecturers. Our department offers lots of extracurricular activities that will enhance your language learning and your overall experience as a student at Trinity, from the German Society here at Trinity to the department-run weekly Stammtisch, to film evenings, to the German play, which is performed every year by our undergraduates and which travels to Germany or Austria, where it is performed again, to the annual German language debate between undergraduate students at UCD and Trinity. So there's lots of social activities around our department, and these activities bring you in contact with your fellow students beyond the classroom and also with native speakers of German, whether these are your language tutors or exchange students from Germany and Austria. We offer 5 degree programs in total. First is joint honours, the degree where you would study German with another subject throughout your 4 years at Trinity. For example, German and French, German and English, German and economics, German and classical civilization. There are in total 11 non-language combinations with German, and German can also be studied alongside French, Spanish, Italian, and Irish. It's important to mention as well that now you can do beginners German at Trinity in joint honours, also European studies and Middle Eastern and European languages and cultures. In the European Studies degree, you study European politics, culture and history alongside European languages, such as German. Next is Business Studies and German, which is an integrated degree programme run between the Business School and the School of Languages, Literatures and Cultural Studies, where the Department of Germanic Studies is based. This is a specialised programme that enjoys a lot of cooperation between the business school and the languages departments. Law and German is also a cross-school degree that runs between the School of Languages, Literatures and Cultural Studies and the Law School. And again, this is an integrated degree. Last is one of our newest degrees, Middle Eastern and European Languages and Cultures. This degree is a multidisciplinary degree that is run from within our school, which is home to the Department of Near and Middle Eastern Studies. Something truly worth mentioning about undergraduate study of languages is the year abroad, which we encourage all students to take as part of their degree. You would normally do this in your 3rd year at Trinity, and you can either go on an academic exchange, such as the Socrates or Erasmus program, or you can also go to Germany or Austria as a teaching assistant at a secondary school. The year abroad is completely transformative. It helps make you fluent in German. You really get to extend that hand of friendship that Le Carré talks about and have it extended back to you. You get to know the culture, the values, the mentality, and the cities and countryside of Germany and Austria. It's an excellent thing to do from the point of view of personal development and lifelong learning. And the year abroad often leads to lifelong friendships too. And that brings me to my last slide. What do we at Trinity want you to be equipped with when you head off after the end of your degree? The Trinity graduate attributes are to think independently. By doing a degree in German with us, you will be able to do independent research at the end of it. You'll be able to think critically and creatively. You'll have learned how to analyze complex material in your own language and also in German. To communicate effectively. You'll have language skills, written and oral. You can listen, persuade, debate. You'll have digital skills, and you'll also have presentation skills in both English and in German. To develop continuously, you'll be open-minded and able to adapt to change, learn new things continuously and in a self-reflexive manner. And there's no two ways about it, but that the encounter with another culture will really, really enhance that. To act responsibly. You'll be able to take responsibility for yourself, you'll be self-motivated, and you'll be able to act on the basis of your own knowledge, insight, and understanding. That brings me to the end of this short presentation on studying German at Trinity. Thank you very much for your attention. Good luck with your choices, and please do get in touch with the department if you have any other queries. Thank you.